how do we create a collection view? That's pretty simple. Let me walk you through the step of doing that. Now, you clearly understand how we did this. We created a model, right? And then we created a text view, a text model and a text view. And I said the view is just the HTML representation of your model. You take properties from your model you want to represent on the view, and you build up the HTML in the text view render, and then put it up there. It's that simple. So, and the collection is just what it is. Several models grouped together forms a collection. And here we just define what those things are. Cool. So to create a collection view, to render all the models in the collection as view, we'd have to create a collection view. And Backbone does not have any collection view class. It just have a view class that you're still gonna make use of to create your collection view. So I'm gonna create a new class called tax collection view, and that's gonna extend backbone dot collection. Sorry, backbone.view as well. And this is just a normal view, the same view you would use for creating a single um you know a single view, a view for a single model rather. So it's the same view here. The only difference here is we're going to pass in a collection, and the collection it's going to use is going to be tax collection. And as usual, I like to define my initialize method, right? Initialize and function, and I like calling my render here. You should always do that so you don't have to call render. If you were to take this out here, remember, if you were to take this render out, then anytime you create an instance of the view, then you'd have to do my text view dot render, you get, before your item gets rendered on the DOM. Let me show you that. So before your item, if you do not call this, nothing happens, and you see what you get. So most times I like calling render directly from the constructor, right? I like calling it directly from the constructor. So you see, we're trying to create a collection view, and basically we're still extending backbone view class. Cool. So I just want to call render because remember, your view, you have to have a render method where you build up all your HTML. And cool. So here the tag name is going to be different. It's going to be a UL tag. Because to me, I think it makes sense because we have several models which are under one parent. So just watch and see how this is going to be done. So we extended backbone view class, and then define an initialize method called render, just the regular way we've always done it. The only thing different here is we're passing in a collection instead of a model. The order doesn't matter, please note that. It's just preference. I could bring this back and have it here. So yeah, collection and template the same way, but I don't think we'll be needing any template, since one thing you need to know about backbone collection view is it's just basically delegating to the model view. So it's not really, there's no way in backbone that a collection has its own view. It's basically going to delegate to the model view, and you'll see how this works. Basically, it's basically just going to use the model view. So there's no need to create any template here, though there are still cases where you could do that, but I think there's no need to demonstrate backbone collection view. So let's see how this works. I can reload, nothing happens, cool. Then as usual, you want to define your render uh, method, and then this is where everything happens. So one thing Backbone gives you is it makes use of underscore, and and when you say this to collection, because it's an array, you could use the for each method on that, and the for each method accepts a function and then does something for each of those functions. So then here we could just pass in attacks, and do a whole lot of stuff here with attacks and all of that. A good example would be, since we already have our collection here, tax collection. I don't know. So here we're just instantiating the tax collection class, right? And then using the reset, and I said the reset populates a collection with default um, models. So this could come from a server, from an API call, and all of that. We'll see how that work in subsequent video. So I already have my tax collection populated with default model. So tax collection, right? So tax collection, so you can see that length tells you the number of, and you could try things out on your own uh, at one. So you could just try to see things out on your own. Dot to JSON is a cool. So you could just try things out. Chrome gives you suggestion. So tax collection gives you, the entire collection. So if I say tax collection dot for each, then of course I'm trying to look through all the collections, and then do something to each one of them. So let's see what we can do. So for each accept a function, so just gonna say function. So I'm gonna say tax, and I'm gonna say console. Sorry about that. Console.log tax.get title. Alright, so we have this. We're gonna close this. We're gonna close this. Cool. So for each is you can check it out in JavaScript. JavaScript for each. Even underscore has it. So for each is used to look through an array. You can see how it works and all of that. So underscore for each as well. You can check it out on underscores documentation. So for each passing this and blah blah blah, everything works out. So for each here we have an object. So we a backbone model. So we're able to use the backbone method for getting the property of a model. So apart from for each, there are other iterator functions or methods. We have map. Map returns a new instance without changing or mutating. You familiar with other mapping languages like Ruby? They do the same thing. Like map returns a new instance of whatever you're trying to play around with without affecting the original one. So that's basically what we're doing here. So we're gonna say, so in the tax collection view, we're gonna iterate through the collection that is being passed in. So this is gonna receive a collection. Basically, it's gonna receive this tax collection. Then we're gonna loop through. When we loop through each of the tags, see what we're gonna do here. Like I said, the tax collection view is only gonna delegate. So it does not really know how to build this up. It's just gonna rely on the tax view. So at this point here, we're gonna say tax view equals to new tax view, and we're gonna pass in the model. So model would be tax, and cool. The next thing we want to do, we're gonna say this el dot append. So we're gonna append. So at this point, what's gonna happen? It's gonna build the single dude, this killer rabbit here as HTML. Then it's gonna append it to this UL, which is the parent. So append tax view dot el. Remember, we don't have to call render here because render is implicitly called here in the constructor. Now when we reload this, and cool, nothing happens, right? So now everything looks cool, and let's see how everything works. So is this gonna work? I don't know. One way to find out is to try it out. So now we have our tax collection populated by default tax. So let's go ahead and create a collection view instance. So we're gonna create a collection view instance, and so how do we do that? Simple. So tax collection view equals to new tax collection view. So it's gonna receive a collection, right? And that collection is gonna be tax collection. Cool, understand. So basically, what we did here is we created a new instance of our tax collection. And I said a collection is what it is, a collection of model. So here we just passed in the model. So passing in tax here is just saying, hey, this is the structure of the model and all of that, and tax collection. Now we create a tax collection view as well, which is going to be a view for a collection. So a collection is made up of several models. And then, so at this point here, we created an instance of tax and tax view. I'm not going to do any rendering here to keep things very simple. I'm also going to take this off because we don't need it anymore. We're going to focus on this. So here we create an instance of our tax collection, and then we populated it using the reset method. And the next thing we're doing here now is we're creating a tax collection view instance and then passing in this collection. Now this collection is already populated with the defaults from here, which I said may likely come from an API call request or from the database and all of that. Usually it's going to be through an API call through Ajax. Great. So now we're passing in this collection. I hope you were understanding. We're passing in this collection here, and that's all. So let's see what happens. So you're familiar with views, so it's not going to be anything new. So let's log in this element, tax collection view.el, and see what happens. Uh, Now it reads an error. It says cannot read property append of blah 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 this. Now the reason you're getting this error here is because uh, of something crazy. Uh, so you have this collection, which Backbone clearly understand. But at this point here, you're saying this and this EL. This EL here, which is kind of referring to this in Backbone's context, is really not clear. So Backbone is not really sure of what this means at this point. At this point, this is kind of not this. So this is yeah, this is kind of not this really. So this is referring to something else. So one way you want to go around this, one of the common things you would see in several backbone codes or tutorials or somewhere out there, is that you would want to create a single method in your tax collection view that does just one thing. And the only thing it does is that it renders just a single view. Does that make any sense? So, meaning, I think it's going to make more sense when I show you. So let's say single tax view, and all this is going to do is going to take in a tax, and then all it's going to do basically is just going to do all of this. So this guy is going to be responsible for rendering a single um, tax view. So here you can see what it's doing. So this element, the append, blah blah blah. So at this point here, we don't need this again since we already have the function. So we could just call this single tax view. Now, if you reload and so basically, so this guy just renders one single tax view. So if you're familiar with JavaScript, I'm just basically passing in this function and it's being called several times and all of that. It's just very cool. So basically, I'm just passing this function because for each accepts a function. So this is a named method, and it's the same as making it anonymous. Anonymous meaning it has no name. Uh, so that's what I'm just doing, just passing in this method directly to this for each. Now, does this solve our problem still? One way to find out is to reload the page and then see. We're still having the same error. So the reason here is that Backbone is not sure what you mean by this. So you need to tell Backbone that when I say this, I mean this. I really mean this. So in order to tell Backbone that this means this view context here, all you need to do is just pass in an argument here, this. And with that, we should be fine. And looking at what we have on the console, you can see here that we have this rendered. So Backbone clearly now understands that, oh, you mean this dude? Yeah, yeah. You say, yeah, yeah, sure, this dude. So and he's saying, oh, cool, cool, cool. Now I get you. I wasn't getting you before. That was why I was yelling at you. And I said, oh, fine, I understand you. You're a dumbhead. I said, oh, yeah, yeah. What do you mean I'm a dumbhead? Why are you using me? Oh, hey, calm down, calm down, calm down. No, 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 no fight here, no fight. So whatever. I'm just kidding anyway. So yeah, so this here refers to this view context. Cool. So uh right, so how do we render this now on the page? It's simple, just use your normal jQuery, select tags, then we could just tags the append, and basically let's just cut this and then paste it and then reload our page and see what we have here. Awesome, beauty, cool, magnificent, great, cook dinner, go through it. So you remember you can still, do other things as well. Done, if you want to. Just do this here, right? False true, false true. You could use a checkbox if you want. We're gonna see how you do that. So Backbone Collection BBC. I never knew that's what it stands for, really. So Backbone Collection. So let's go through each step as wrap up, or so you understand everything. So the first thing we did is I created a model just for you to understand how Backbone works, and this is more of like a recap. So this is a Backbone model. We set the faults, and then we create a view which is going to be our HTML representation of this model, and then we did a couple of stuff. Say the tag should be li this time, the model should be this dude here, the templates we build up the work here, and we define our render function, and then passing all the attribute here. You could decide your server, you could decide the attribute you want to pass here, but here we're passing everything. And then we create a collection. For the first time we create a collection, and a collection is basically just a group of model, and we pass in a model which is kind of defining the structure of our collection. And for the first time again we created the collection view, uh, which is basically view for our collections, and we realized it's also very simple. We're passing the tag name, we're passing the collection. Now we created a method that handles the rendering of just one single model view, just one single model view. And then for our collection, we call that for each, and then passing this context in this context. And then we created an instance of our tax collection class. We use the backbone reset method to populate the collection with some defaults, which I said could come from an API request. Then we created a collection view instance and passing this collection that have been populated, and then we appended it to the uh, DOM. That'll be all for this uh, chapter, or this episode, or this screencast, or this, I don't know what it's called, but please bear with me. I'm gonna do my best to update as much as possible. We're gonna build out some stuff. Trust me. We're gonna learn how to consume APIs with Backbone as well. Heads up, we're gonna be consuming an API with Backbone. There's an API I built called Ant Bucket, and this we're going to be using this in our tutorial as we progress. But one thing I want you to know is we're going to try to I'm going to do my best to teach you guys the basic concepts you need to know for us to be able to, so you could check this out and I mean start using things. This is not a production ready API. This is just for fun, done with Ruby on Rails. You can check it out on GitHub. There's also a simple backbone project done with this, and it is called Ant Bucket. So Backbone Hand Bucket. If you're not patient enough, I was just playing around with it some times ago. You could check it out. It really encompasses how you use Backbone appropriately. I did a very good job in carefully organizing the files appropriately and all of that and stuff. But there's a whole lot to still learn. You've now learned Backbone histories and routers and forms and all of those things. We're gonna and events and things like that. But rendering views are very important. And now that you know how to render collection views, going forward, we're gonna be talking about how to more methods related to models and collections and all of that. Thank you guys for watching. Sorry that this video came up late. I love you guys. Uh, my name remains Damian Simon Peter. What am I saying? Yeah, that's my name. Yeah, sure. And please leave your comments below. It's really gonna help me out to know what to do and what not to do and all of that. Good to have you guys watching this video. Have a great day. Signing off. Take care. Bye bye. Should I continue? Oh, sorry. Bye bye. See you next time.